Get ready with me as I tell the story of how I could have died. We are going back to the year 2012 when I was age 24. And for context, I have a past medical history of a medical condition called polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS. 2 months prior to what happened to me, I was having a bunch of unexplained dizzy spells. I went to an ENT doctor, a neuro-ophthalmologist, and got an MRI of my brain, and everything came back negative. A week before I had my incident, I had traveled to California, and then the day that everything happened, I had gotten a massage. And with this specific massage, I let her massage my legs, which I had never had happen before during a massage. I was told this would help with the alignment because I was having a lot of back pain. Later that night, I started to have a ton of back pain. I continued to have this back pain for 2 days before I went to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, a bunch of tests were ran, including a D-dimer test and a CAT scan of my lungs. I was also asked if I had traveled recently and if I was taking birth control. From my results, they found that I had blood clots in my lungs, which is also something called a pulmonary embolism. They ran a bunch of tests and determined that this was caused by my birth control. I was told I could never take birth control again, which is what I was using to treat my PCOS. And if I ever had kids, I would be classified as a high-risk pregnancy. To treat the blood clots, I started with a few days of a shot called Lovenox and then switched to an oral medication called warfarin, which I took for 9 months. I had to get very frequent lab draws to make sure that my clotting factor was within range. Because I could no longer take the birth control for my PCOS, I had to find a new treatment. I went to an endocrinologist who prescribed me a medication called metformin. I tried the medication for a month, but it was so awful on my stomach. I got switched to the brand name Glumetza. After taking the medication for 9 months, it still was not doing anything to correct my PCOS. So for the last 14 years, I've been left without any treatments for my PCOS. My purpose in sharing this story is, of course, to spread awareness and to advocate for women's health, as we know that most women's health is ignored. So if you take anything away from my story, please remember to be your own best advocate, because nobody is going to advocate harder for you than yourself.